All right, well, go ahead. Who wants to start on the book? Because I got a whole list, but I'm not going to do this anymore until you guys go. So go ahead. Somebody, anybody? Emily, go.
I'll go
Thanks.
since I was the first timer for the gratitudes. Just the notion of you can control your actions, reactions, and mindset. I thought that that really stuck out to me, and minimizing negative energy while increasing positive. I think that quote negative energy can serve a purpose. So I don't necessarily think it's about minimizing it, but kind of letting yourself feel it, process it, work through it, and don't respond until you're kind of out of that mindset. Because I think that's what can lead to actions and reactions and mindset kind of being not coming from a grounded place. So that was what kind of stuck out to me.
Right on. You're 100% right. How you react to what happens to you is the thing that matters most. Dean, go ahead. You raise your hand.
Yeah, the three things that kind of stood out for me is one, losing is a choice and mediocrity is a choice.
Love that.
It's a choice. Like, you don't have to do that. It's your decision. And that, I think, is the core of mental toughness. I also like the make one more call. I remember back not too long ago, Casey and I were together. We were out visiting some builders, and we go, let's make one more. Like, we were kind of at the end. We were kind of like, yeah, should we just call it? And we go, let's make one more call. And that was like the best stop by we did for the whole day. And it usually works out that way. It's usually that one more call is the one that is the best one. And so I'm a firm believer in the one more call. And then lastly, how bad do you want it? Like, that's really what it comes down to. How bad do you want this?
Exactly.
Because that'll get you through all of the challenges, all the crap, all the rejection, everything is how bad you want it. So.
That's great. Thank you, sir. Who else?
I'll go.
Oh.
The outlearn, out-earn is like pretty much the only part of this that I follow a whole lot. I've always just wanted to know more and be better than anyone else in the business. So I'm just constantly reading. I don't read any books but guidelines my whole life. So it's a little boring, but it's what pays the bills. Just know more. I had a really tough client this week that was getting bad advice from another lender, and they kept questioning me, and I had to like unwind all this really, really bad advice. And at the end, they were like, okay, well, we trust you more. I'm like, well, thanks.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Who else?
I can go.
Go ahead.
Like, the notes that I have are around like the slow down, the speed up, outlearn, out-earn, how bad do you want it, the not only the mental resilience, but the physical resilience, like that your mental energy will be limited by your physical resilience. So yeah, those are the ones that kind of stuck out to me.
Cool. I agree. These are all good. You guys are covering almost everything I've got, but go ahead. Who else?
It's funny, when I saw the outlearn, out-earn, I thought of John. I was like, man, he's just outlearning me. He's been doing it for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Long. I'm totally screwed. No, I was kidding.
No, it just starts with like, that's the deal. That's the thing. That's the cool thing about this business is that you can do loans that anyone can do, but they don't know how, because they don't know the guidelines. They don't know how to do them. And it's like the easiest thing, like, okay, well, I'll just learn how to do the loan and then I'll do the loan. And because, you've met, how many people have you met that are just kind of lazy about the approach? They're just looking for the easy money and like, oh yeah, it works. And like, oh yeah, you can't get a loan. It's like going, yeah, they can. And then you do the loan. I mean, we've done it. That's what Trauma Center is all about. Somebody said they could do a loan, then they couldn't. It's like, well, yeah, they can. And like simple loans that anyone can do. It's funny how often it happens. But that's
I think when you educate somebody too, you build loyalty. with them. I think that's a
Totally.
way to prevent people from shopping, right? So if you're able to educate them on the process, on, you know, the loan, why you're going with this and not that, usually somebody's not going to go out and go with somebody else after that. So I think, you know, learning as much as you can and being an advisor more than anything else will keep people from shopping and actually create more referrals. So
Agree 100%. The customer, yeah, they want to work with a teacher. If you teach them, they're like, oh, thank you. You're really smart. I'm going to use you.
same with realtors. If you can do that with them and, you know, they get a feeling that you know your shit better than anybody else, they'll work with you too.
Well, and they become an advocate when that happens. Like once they think like, man, you're really smart, then they stop referring they stop handing out 3 cards.
Mhm.
Because like going, you need to work with her. I need you to work with her. And so that's who people work with, right? They work. Now you got to perform. You can't like blow off their phone call for 2 days, but that's exactly how it works. Who else? Dennis, were you going to talk?
Yeah, I'll probably not normal topic, but complacency, and just re-challenging yourself. I mean, I've been very fortunate in business in my career, and it's varied, and I've had a lot of very good wins, very successful wins. This has proven to be much more challenging than I thought, being an originator versus being a non-originating branch manager. So that's been a massive learning curve, and just trying to constantly improve your skills, because you know, if I'm not pushing on it, it doesn't just happen. And the reality is all my other businesses happened and were successful because I busted my ass and did it. So I have to do the same thing now. It's not just gonna flick into my network and all of a sudden my phone's gonna ring. So not that that's a news flash, but it was good resounding in the book. So
You're right. Hopper, what do you got?
I was going to talk about the out learning. I mean, yeah, guidelines are important too, but I think more importantly for me over the last, Mortgage Coach, once I started using that was huge. But more importantly was like just watching those Barry Habib videos. I just feel like I feel like an economist. I like know a lot about the market. So when you have those buyer presentations, you talk about inflation and talk about what's going on, like I highly doubt 98% of the lenders out there know that much. So just watching those videos every day and being in tune is important. And then, yeah, like Christine said, they just start trusting you more, and there's no reason for them to go shop because you're being an advisor and coaching them on what to do.
Oh, Casey?
Honestly, I think everything was covered. I mean, it wasn't a ton of material, but you know, the biggest thing that resonates is how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
It's everything in life.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Here's so some of my takeaways, you guys have covered almost everything. I like the one, mental toughness can be learned and developed. A lot of people I think that I've probably been guilty of this where like, wow, that guy's really mentally tough. I don't know if I can't do what he does. So it's like going, and actually it can be learned, and it's a simple formula. Change your mindset. You can change your game. And so once you know that, then it's like, okay, well, what are you feeding your mind? And then he goes through the whole list of how are you taking care of yourself? How are you are you around negative people? You can't be around negative people, right? You can't be around complainers. You can't be around people that suck energy out away from you. How do you react when things don't go your way? Things don't go your way and you react negatively. It just gets worse always. And then change your mindset to go like, okay, what can I learn from what just happened? Because spending time, that's the interesting thing about this business is the amount of time people spend and waste on a bad outcome instead of going, okay, how are we going to fix it? And what can I learn so that I never have to do that again so that we can keep going and make one more call today so that I can get, because like the only thing volume solves everything. Volume solves everything. So another loan, more transactions, more business takes care of everything. Always has, always will. And so spending time on anything other than more volume is dumb, and it's a waste of time, and it costs you a fortune. And so I love that part of it. Sharpening your saw. That's what this whole book is about. You know, learning to out earn people, learn to out earn is what the whole book is about. And it's what every book I've ever asked you to read is about. knowledge is not power, right? It's the action you put to, it's the things you put into action because of the knowledge that you have, right? It's taking action. That's where all the power comes from. And that's where you can beat everyone, because you're taking the action. So all these things, this is one of the best ever sales books I've read about prospecting for sale. This is one of the best. You can learn so much from this book, but if all you do is read it and don't take something away from, okay, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start making one more call at the end of every business day. If you don't do that, then the time you spent reading this book was a giant waste of your time, and you should go do something else. Go run or something, but not taking action. So every book that I've had you guys read, Fanatical Prospecting, Crush Price Objections, Ninja Selling, Amplify Your Influence, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Shift, Psycho-Cybernetics. These are classics. These are classic books with so much knowledge that if you put into practice can change everything about your life. I know, because it changed those books changed everything about mine. But not doing anything is dumb. Like, don't read the book. If you're not going to do it, if you're not going to put anything into action, don't read the book. But that's the opportunity, man. That's the cool part about this. And that's where you can kick the competition's ass, because most people won't do it. They just won't. And mediocrity, that's mediocre behavior get mediocre results. And once you allow mediocrity into sales, you become a bad luck magnet. Isn't it true? You just, everything bad happens, bad luck magnet. It's horrible. So this Darren Daily, I'm going to share this from earlier this week, and just it's like about a 4.5 minute deal.
Imagine walking into a park and seeing somebody sitting off in the corner reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. That would be ridiculous, right? Well, that's the way most people
live out their lives. Hey, look, do you think that great athletes got there by just reading about it? Did great business people just read books on business? Do highly charismatic people become that way because they read How to Win Friends and Influence People? The answer is, I know. Of course, I'm not against reading. I'm all for it. But I am more for doing, for practicing, for doing the work of what it is that you learn inside those books. Reading to pick up an idea and then applying it. Not applying it once, mind you, but repeatedly. Not applying it the same way each time, but better every time. Not to just get good at it, but to push for excellence. But most people read books like a hormone-filled 18-year-old collects girls' phone numbers, as if it's another notch in their belt and something to brag about to their buddies. As lame as that is, so is counting the number of books that you've read that you've done nothing with. I call them the overmotivated underachiever, and the personal development community is filled with them. Have you ever talked to someone who just loves to brag about how much they read, yet their life never seems to improve? Yeah, me too. It's not that the books didn't work, it's just that the reader didn't do the work. WORK has to follow reading. No one has ever become successful sitting on their couch reading. I'm just saying. I'd rather hire or work with a person who reads only the first chapter of a book, then puts it down and starts trying some of the ideas that they picked up, and then comes back and then goes back to chapter 2, versus the person who just binge reads through chapter after chapter and never applies any of it. Let me give you 3 big tips on how to get the most out of what it is that you do choose to read. Number 1, read with purpose. I want you to read with purpose. Have a problem in mind with that key skill that you're focused on mastering, with a defined issue that needs solving. Then read with your mind and eyes focused on finding those answers. Oh, and then apply what you find. Do the work. The second key here is, instead of just perusing the self-help section of a bookstore or Amazon or some random suggestion somebody made at a networking meeting, I want you to find an expert in the field that you need your skill development in, or in the area of the problem you're needing solved. Find the author or expert that you trust. Start with the who, not the what, the book, the resource. Start with the who, and then go deep with them. Find their other books and their podcasts and their articles and their videos and their training materials and their Darren Daily and consume deeply. Number 3, get out there and do things. The second you have some actionable advice, act on it. Now, try it more than once, repeatedly, not the same way each time, but better every time. Not to just get good at it, but push for excellence. And get your butt back here as we continue the never-ending journey to pursue the very best in you, in your quest to help you become better every day. Now, go out and make something happen.
That was so timely when I read it, or when I heard it Wednesday morning. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And it's Wednesday, so it'll still be able to, we can do the replay on Friday. So, because after 3 days, these go away. But that's it. That's the point, is that reading the book doesn't do you any good. Taking action does. And that's the best part of all of the whole thing. So if you don't do that, don't read the book. I mean, I hate saying that, but because you're just wasting your time, but if you can get something out of it, and you don't need to, I agree with him. You don't need to read a million books. I love to read, so I'm always reading new things. I don't read everything cover to cover. If I start reading a book that I don't like, I'll put it down and go on to another book. And I'm constantly being fed ideas about what books there are to read. So I'm never at a loss. But that's it. It's how bad do you want it? Are you willing to do the work? Mediocrity is a choice. You can do every single one of you. You're working in a job that you can become a millionaire at. What else do I need to say? I hope that's exciting. And like, yeah, let's become millionaires, because you're all capable of doing that. And it's hard to find that opportunity. It really is hard to find that. I mean, I searched for 20 years until I found mortgage lending. I was like going, okay, this is what I can do to reach my goals. And when you find it, like, okay, let's take advantage of this and learn my ass off until I can do what it is I want to be able to do to be able to reach those goals. So, so that's it, everyone. The last thing I want to share with you is that Jessica referred a potential loan officer to us, who's somebody who's licensed, she's got some experience in lending, but she's not currently a loan officer, but she's an Olympic athlete. She's run in the Olympics. She's a marathoner in the Olympics. And something that she said to Amy and John, they did a second interview with her yesterday, something that she said about doing the work and it always pays off and all that stuff. She said something, she goes, well, here's what we say in running. We say, when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go on that run, no one's going to run that mile for you. So if you don't do the work, nothing's going to happen. No one's going to do it for you. And I just thought, wow, that's a really good piece of advice from an Olympic athlete. She's run the marathon, and her best time in the marathon is 2 hours and 27 minutes, 26 miles. The fuck. So, pretty impressive. And so that's it. That's my wish for all of you guys, is that you guys get to have your Olympic gold medal result from being in this business, because that is this opportunity. And if you don't recognize it, you're missing out. So I'm out for the next couple of weeks, so there won't be any of these calls, but everybody's gonna reach out to all of you so that we can keep updating the numbers for each week. So get her those numbers. And I've told her to not leave you alone until you get them to her. So you're going to have to get them to her. And that's it. So I appreciate everybody. Have a great couple of weeks. We got 4th of July coming up. And so I'll see everybody on the call this afternoon. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great 2 weeks.